Welcome to Reading on the Rock for Advent.
Good evening, my friends, and welcome to Reading on the Rock here at Covenant United Methodist Church. I'm Reverend Ann Kemper, and tonight we begin a new series of stories about light. Now, that might sound like a funny thing to learn about, but for the next 5 weeks, we're going to read books that make us think about light in different ways. And why? Because this is the season of light, when we prepare for Jesus coming into the world. In fact, we call Jesus the light of the world. Tonight I'm going to read you a story called Oscar and the Moth. It's a story about light and dark. It's written by Jeff Waring and published by Candlewick Press. Oscar and the Moth. One summer evening, Oscar lay on the warm back step. Moth was just waking up. "Where does the sun go at night?" Oscar asked her. "It doesn't go anywhere," Moth answered. "But the earth is always turning around. And now it's turning slowly away from the sun." Oscar was surprised. "I'm not turning around," he said. "We can't feel it," Moth said, "but we can see it. When our side of the earth turns toward the sun, it gets light. And when it turns away again, it gets dark. So we have morning, lunchtime, and evening." Oscar sat up. "I'm cold," he said, shivering. "It's because we've turned away from the sun," said Moth. "And now we don't have the sun's light or its warmth. That's why it's almost always colder at night than during the day." Just then the outside lamp came on, and Moth flew toward it. "I sleep during the day," she said, "so I don't see the sun. But I love the lamp's light and its warmth." Oscar looked up. He could feel the lamp's warm light on his face. "Is the lamp as hot as the sun?" he asked. "No," said Moth. "The sun is our brightest and hottest light." "Are all lights hot?" Oscar asked. "Not all," said Moth, "but many are." Oscar climbed off the step and looked out at the starry sky. Moth flew down to join him. "You can only see the stars at night," she said. "They are always shining, but you can't see them during the day because of the light from the sun." It says here that our sun is a star too. It's closer to the earth than other stars are, so its light is much brighter to us than theirs, and it looks very big. Moth flew toward the street. "Without the sun's light," he said, "we need other lights to help us." Oscar could see the lights of an airplane, a street light, and a lamp in the window. "What are those little lights?" he asked. "They're dancing." "Those are fireflies," Moth said. "They are beetles that can make their own light." And she told Oscar about how some living creatures make light in their own bodies. Male fireflies wait until dusk to fly up and show off to the female fireflies by flashing light signals. Malaysian land snails wake up at night and flash green signals to each other. And the sun's light does not reach far into the sea, and many sea creatures make their own light. And if anything tries to eat a swordfish squid, it squirts glowing ink cloud, and this dazzles the hungry fish, allowing the squid to escape. And the rim of the crystal jellyfish glows green when it's disturbed. Oh my, there's a poisonous millipede found in California that lights up at night to warn other animals not to eat it. And the anglerfish lives in the deep sea, and it has a big spine on its head with a tip that glows blue-green, and the tip acts as bait to lure other fish, which the anglerfish then eats. I wish I could glow too, Oscar said. Just then, Oscar noticed something swooping around. "Look, Moth, there's your shadow," he called. "My body is stopping some of the light from reaching the wall," Moth said. "It leaves a dark patch that's the same shape as me." "Where's my shadow?" asked Oscar. "If you stand up," Moth said, "you'll see." Oh my, there's Oscar and the moth. Oscar got up, and there was an Oscar-shaped shadow on the wall. Oscar lay down again, and so did his shadow. He closed his eyes, and the dark behind his eyelids made him feel very sleepy. "Is it nearly morning?" he said with a yawn. "Not yet, Oscar," said Moth. But Oscar didn't hear her. He was already dreaming about the bright sun, the shining stars, and deep-sea fishes. The end. Oscar learned a lot about light. He learned the light of the sun was always warm. Oscar learned that he could only see stars when it was dark. And he learned how some animals make their own light. We call Jesus the light because Jesus can make us feel warm inside, is dazzling like the stars, and makes his own light because he loves us so much. Light and dark seem like they are opposites, but really, light and dark need each other, just like we need Jesus, the light of the world. Now come back next Monday and hear another story about light. Have a good evening.
Reading on the Rock is presented by Covenant United Methodist Church in Rochester, New York. If you like Reading on the Rock, please give a donation on our website, covenantroc.org.